of all the selfish, narcissistic things that Trump has done, attending MSG to see the Knicks play in person on Monday is the absolute worst. And it seems as though she agrees with Stephen A. Smith, who said this on ESPN this morning. Watch.
This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious.
Donald Trump has once again found a way to make something that had absolutely nothing to do with him become a story that revolves entirely around him. This time, he's expected to attend the NBA Finals in New York City, and his presence is already causing major frustration for fans because of the added security, restrictions, and disruptions that come along with it. We are going to take a look at clips from CNN's Casey Hunt, where she and her panel discuss the situation and break down the effects of Trump's attendance. I also want to give my own thoughts and perspective on everything that is being talked about. So with that said, let's get straight into it.
Right now, a 5-block radius surrounding Madison Square Garden is virtually on lockdown ahead of Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. The area closed at 4 p.m. Eastern, with tip-off not scheduled until 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. President Trump's attendance is historical. He'll be the first sitting president to attend an NBA Finals game. But that means security has been heightened, and watch parties surrounding MSG, the mecca of basketball, have been canceled. CNN's Mark Morales is outside the Garden. Mark, what is going on there? These tickets were already so unaffordable. People expecting to, be outside having watch parties, now disappointed too.
Right, and it's really interesting over the last couple of hours because before this was an energetic crowd that was just kind of walking around here while we had security, but the closer we get to tip-off, the more you get this sort of rabid excitement that you're getting from fans, but at the same time, you're also getting this tightening of security. So if we can show you just a little bit of what we're talking about here, you'll see these barricades behind me. These are designed so that people can't climb up. You'll also see these white blocker cements on the bottom, so that's to prevent from vehicles to sort of do any sort of ramming attacks. And what we saw at 4 o'clock is these metal barricades. These metal barricades have gone up, and now they're not letting people cross to the next street. So this lockdown is actually is really taking shape now. And if you look over into the distance, you'll see these sanitation trucks. Those are there to also prevent from ramming attacks, as we've seen in other terrorist incidents. So this is all part of the posture that's been put together by the Secret Service and the NYPD to really put everything on lockdown. And as we get closer to tip-off, this is going to get tighter and tighter. Now, one of the ramifications of such a security plan means this very popular watch party that was right outside of Madison Square Garden can't take place today. And that's because it would be a massive security risk for the president to be here while that's going on. So we talked to some fans, and they have some feelings about it, because for those of you who couldn't afford to get into Madison Square Garden and pay those ticket prices, you at least had that. You could be that close to the Garden. But some of the fans are a little disappointed. Take a listen.
I think people should still come out. I don't really think Trump should even be here, to be honest with you. He doesn't really claim himself as a New Yorker.
We've been waiting for this for like how long? And, a lot of people can't afford to get into the game. I'm one of those people. So I was actually looking forward to going to one of these watch parties, and now I can't.
He doesn't live here, and he's kind of pooped on us for a while. And, so I think this is our time, and he's distracting from our time.
We've even seen TSA is here ready to do bag checks. And again, they're saying no bags at all, and arrive 2 hours before tip-off so you can get into the game. Casey?
Sure. All right, Mark Morales, outside MSG. Thank you, Mark, for that. Is anyone here a New Yorker? No, we don't have any New Yorkers. Okay, well, they wouldn't give you credit for that, I don't think. But I mean, David Chalian, you cannot overstate what with the Knicks being their first hometown final in 27 years means. And I mean, the criticism of the president. I mean, look, let's put up Ian Coulter. Of all the selfish, narcissistic things that Trump has done, attending MSG to see the Knicks play in person on Monday is the absolute worst. And it seems as though she agrees with Stephen A. Smith, who said this on ESPN this morning. Watch.
This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game. I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan. This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan.
Now, if Ronald Reagan suddenly showed up, that would actually be something incredible to see. That would be a far bigger story than Donald Trump attending the game. Honestly, if the ghost of Ronald Reagan or somehow Reagan himself appeared there, that would instantly become the main event and grab everyone's attention. I would definitely be watching because that would be far more interesting than anything else happening at the game.
What say you?
You know, I don't find it so offensive. Like, I think it's totally okay for a president to go to a big sporting event. I get it causes complications and a headache, and it is the right of every New Yorker to complain against that. That is quintessentially New York. But, I mean, who's more of a New Yorker president than Donald Trump? I know he has rejected his citizenship there and has moved to Florida, but the guy has a tower called Trump Tower up on Fifth Avenue. He's from Queens. He is a New York character and has been for decades. It's not like out of the realm that he would want to go to Madison Square Garden and be part of the action.
Let's watch a little bit of, this is not the first time that President Trump has interacted with the NBA. Back when he was a New Yorker, a couple things stood out to us. Watch.
It's your good friend Donald Trump.
Donald, yes. My business partner.
What does it say? Walk on?
I love this game, and if you don't, you are fired.
Congressman, what do you think?
You can take the man out of New York. You cannot take New York out of the man. And this is, this president loves sports, loves these national events. They get attention. I think our attention will be on the crowd reaction. And if these folks have to show up without bags, with nothing to do for a couple hours before the game, this is going to be a lit crowd in every sense of the word. It will be fascinating to see what happens tonight before we have the big match on the president's lawn or the White House lawn on Friday.
Donald Trump is free to enjoy sports just like anyone else, but the reality is that none of these disruptions have any impact on him personally. If he wanted to, he could easily stay at home and watch the game in complete comfort. The people who are actually dealing with the consequences are the fans who spent their money on tickets and made plans to be there. I do not know exactly how long it normally takes to get inside the arena, but many of those fans could now be facing significant delays because of the extra security measures. They are the ones being inconvenienced by all of this. On top of that, several watch parties are reportedly being canceled, which only adds to the frustration surrounding the event. My position is pretty straightforward. If he wants to attend the game, that is entirely his decision, but the watch parties and other planned activities should still be allowed to continue without interruption. I also think this situation creates a huge opportunity for a large public protest. The people who were planning to attend those watch parties, along with many others who may not even follow basketball but disagree with his presence, could easily show up in large numbers. As was mentioned earlier, previous presidents generally tried to avoid causing this kind of disruption. But when it comes to Donald Trump, critics argue that he has repeatedly displayed a level of self-interest and desire for attention that is unlike anything seen from a modern American president.
And then the other reality here too, right, is that this game was already, I mean, look at the front row of like the semifinals, Knicks games. I mean, you recognized every face in that row. I mean, the celebrity star power, are they all, I guess they're all going to have to go through TSA.
They're going to have to do it too, be like the rest of us. There are a lot of things I will criticize President Trump for. Going to a sporting event is not one of those things. But what I will say is if we can get the president into Madison Square Garden safely, protect him, protect those around him, I do have real problems with this ballroom vanity project where we're going to spend billions of dollars for a couple of events. So if we can send him to the Super Bowl, to Madison Square, which we can and we should, I'm fine with that. But I think it underscores some of the other issues that have been raised.
On message. I give you a shout out for that. Bring it back.
This was Whoopi Goldberg, actually, in terms of, we've got Ann Coulter criticizing the president for this. Here was Whoopi Goldberg defending Donald Trump today. Watch.
Trump and Mayor Mamdani are Knicks fans and have been. They're New Yorkers. And there's nothing either one of them can do to change what's happening in the city for this team. Mm-hmm. They can't, they're there. Okay, there's a lot
jinx us?
There's a lot
No.
You know what? I don't think anything can jinx anything. I think these guys are on a mission.
I mean, I don't know. There's almost like a risk if he goes and they lose that
right. People are going to absolutely blame it on him. No, I think, look, anything that Trump touches turns political. That's why we're talking about it. That's why so many people are opining on this one moment. I will say another New Yorker is making a scene about this on Capitol Hill. Hakeem Jeffries came out at his press conference just wearing a very, very, very light blue and light pink hat matching outfit. It was quite a scene to see. And he was just like, look, we haven't had the Knicks in the final in almost 30 years. I think he said almost verbatim, why does Trump have to ruin something so good?
So wait a second. Why is Hakeem Jeffries not going?
There's votes at 6:30 p.m. tonight.
And by the way, you gotta
maybe
write
he
your own
can't
check.
get in.
You got to write your own check for those seats. That's not a giftable thing.
Oh.
So come up. Yeah. What's the cheapest seat? $10,000 or something like that now. So good luck.
I mean, so that to me that does seem, David Chalian, like if there's political risk in this, right? It's just, I mean, and, he doesn't have to win an election in New York, so I guess what does it really matter? But it's like the Trump people in New York that are already having a hard time getting these tickets, right? It's like the firefighters and the policemen in Queens, and like they were all supposed to have parties around the Garden, be part of the celebration if they were to win tonight. Yep. And that whole thing is going to be changed because of what the president's doing.
Yes, no doubt. And to Patrick's point about, the anticipated booing that we will hear, I think we're also going to have to suffer through a news cycle where the president's going to try to convince us that it wasn't booing and that he was actually, like it was a sea of love for him in the Garden when it wasn't. So we're going to have to go through the motions of this. Let's just focus on the game. Let's hope the Knicks win and move forward from there.
Yeah, I mean, he should just be glad that he's, from New York and it's a Knicks situation and it's not the Sixers in Philly, because let me tell you.
If this were the worst thing Donald Trump had done during his time in office, then people would probably consider themselves extremely lucky. The truth is that this issue would not even come close to the top of the list of controversies and actions that critics have linked to him throughout the years. Even so, many people would argue that this situation is a perfect example of who Donald Trump is as a person. In their eyes, he is someone who is heavily focused on himself, puts his own interests first, and has no problem allowing others to deal with the inconvenience as long as he gets what he wants. As I said earlier, I would not be shocked if thousands of people across New York City decided to come out and make their opinions about him heard. But now, I want to hear what you think. Do you believe this whole situation is being exaggerated and that it is really not a big deal? Do you agree with the panel on Casey Hunt's show, who for the most part seemed to think that Trump's attendance at the game is not something people should be overly concerned about? Or do you feel that he should stay away and allow the fans and the city to enjoy this event without the extra disruptions, restrictions, and security complications that come with his presence? We all know that is probably not a decision Donald Trump would make, but I am interested in hearing where you stand on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.